Ladies and gentlemen, they left you for someone else. Just do this and watch them fall apart. Listen, I don't care who you are. Being left, being replaced, it hurts. I've been there. You gave your time, your energy, your heart, and they walked away like it meant nothing. Left you for somebody else. That's tough. But let me tell you something, and I want you to hear me real good. You don't chase nobody who walked away from what God gave them. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. When someone walks out of your life, especially when they leave you for somebody else, that pain can feel unbearable. You feel confused, broken, and sometimes even angry. You start asking yourself all the wrong questions. Was I not enough? What did I do wrong? Why would they choose them over me? But let me stop you right there because I've got some truth for you. You don't chase somebody who willingly walked away from what was a blessing in their life. You hear me? See, when someone leaves you, especially when they've replaced you with someone else, it's easy to let your emotions take over. It's easy to start comparing yourself to the new person, to obsess over what they have that you don't, or what you could have done to stop them from leaving. But that's not your assignment. That's not your battle. That's not your lane. Your job is to let them go. I know it hurts. I know it feels like a part of you just got torn out. But you don't fight to keep people who don't recognize your worth. That's not love. That's desperation, and you are better than that. You have value, you have purpose, and you have greatness in you. If they couldn't see that, then that's their loss, not yours. Now, I want you to understand something real deep. When people leave you for someone else, they're not just leaving you. They're leaving behind everything you brought to their life. They're leaving behind your support, your prayers, your loyalty, your love, your time, your late nights, your encouragement. They're walking away from that because they think they found better. And that's okay. That's their choice. But you don't need to convince anybody to stay. The right person won't need convincing. The right person will see your value and match your energy. They'll show up for you the same way you showed up for them. So when they leave, let them. Don't beg, don't plead, don't lose sleep scrolling through their photos trying to figure out if they're happier now. Because I promise you this, when someone walks away from something real, when they trade loyalty for lust, peace for drama, purpose for temporary pleasure, it always comes back to haunt them. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but life has a way of exposing truth. It has a way of making people realize that the thing they thought they wanted was just a distraction. And the thing they left behind, that was the real deal. But here's the key. You can't spend your time waiting for them to realize that. You can't pause your life hoping they'll come back. Because if they do come back and you haven't healed, you're just letting that pain recycle. You're letting someone who didn't value you come in and take advantage of you again. Don't do that to yourself. Instead, take that energy you were using to hold on to them and pour it into yourself. Get your mind right, strengthen your heart, get closer to God, get into your purpose, find your peace, build your future. That's the kind of energy that makes people double back and say, wow, I really messed up. But by then, you'll be too far ahead to look back. You got to understand, people don't leave you because you weren't enough. They leave because they weren't ready. They weren't mature enough to appreciate what they had. You showed up fully, but they weren't ready for that. So don't take the departure as a reflection of your worth. Take it as a sign that you've outgrown them. Take it as a blessing in disguise. God heard conversations you didn't. He saw things behind closed doors. He removed them for a reason. And sometimes rejection is just redirection. You don't need to seek revenge. You don't need to prove your value to them. The way you live your life after they leave, that's the proof. When you level up, when you walk in confidence, when you keep smiling, keep winning, keep healing, keep loving yourself, that's how you make them regret ever letting you go. And it's not even about revenge. It's about you rising. It's about you evolving. It's about you becoming the person you were always meant to be, with or without them. So stop looking back. Stop wondering why they didn't choose you. They made their choice, and now it's time for you to make yours. Choose you. Choose your future. Choose your healing. Choose your peace. Because when you do that, you stop surviving and you start thriving. And that's when everything changes. Let them go. And watch how God replaces what you lost with something you didn't even know you needed. Watch how he sends people who see you, love you, and stand with you. Not just when it's easy, but when it's real. That's what you deserve, and that's what's coming. You know what too many people do after a breakup, especially when they've been left for someone else? They fall apart. They sit in that pain day in and day out, replaying everything like a broken record. They lose themselves trying to understand why they weren't chosen. But let me tell you something I've learned through life's toughest moments. The best investment you can ever make is not in proving them wrong. It's in proving to yourself that you are still worthy, valuable, and whole. See, when somebody walks away from you, they think they're walking into something better. That's their assumption. But your job ain't to sit around watching their new relationship bloom. Your job is to go back to the one person who's been with you through it all, you. Because the person you see in the mirror, that's the one who's still standing. That's the one who needs your time, your energy, your focus. That's the one you got to build back up, not just for revenge, but for rebirth. You see, when they leave, they expect you to fall apart. That's what most people do. But when you turn your pain into progress, when you start showing up for yourself instead of waiting for someone else to do it, that's when you win. Start with your mind. Your mindset is your foundation. If you keep feeding yourself bitterness, jealousy, regret, you're going to keep living in that storm. But if you start feeding yourself knowledge, wisdom, positivity, and prayer, you begin to rise. Every day, speak life over yourself. Say, I am not what they walked away from. I am not my rejection. I am my recovery. And then move on to your body. Start working out. Not for a revenge body, but for a restored body. Let the gym be your therapy. Let sweat be your release. Take care of yourself. Eat better, move more, sleep deeply. Show yourself that you still matter. Because when you start treating yourself like you're valuable, others will either rise to your standard or fall away. And either way, you're winning. Next, focus on your finances. Stack your money. Learn about investing. Start that side hustle. Launch that business. Go after that promotion. You don't need to post about it. You don't need to flash it. Just let your growth speak loud in silence. When you're building something, you ain't got time to look back. And let me tell you, nothing makes people regret leaving more than watching you build the life they never imagined you could without them. And don't just invest in your pockets. Invest in your spirit. Get connected to your purpose. Tap back into God. Get quiet and ask yourself, what was I born for? Because when someone leaves you, it's often a divine interruption. Sometimes God has to subtract people from your life so he can multiply your purpose. Don't miss that opportunity. There's something inside you that didn't get a chance to shine because you were too focused on keeping someone who didn't want to stay. Now's the time. Go write the book, start the ministry, launch the brand, speak your truth. You've got more inside you than you've been showing. And let's not forget your emotional well-being. Get therapy if you need to. Talk it out. Cry if you have to. That's healing, not weakness. But don't stay in that space too long. Once the pain is processed, leave it behind like old baggage at a station you're never returning to. You've got places to be. You've got people to inspire. You've got a life to live. And it can't be spent trying to understand why someone else couldn't see your value. That ain't your job. See, when you invest in yourself, when you get up every day and decide, I may be hurt, but I'm not broken, you start becoming dangerous to the enemy. You start becoming unstoppable. People will notice. Even the one who left. Oh yeah, they'll see it. They'll feel it, that glow, that power, that peace. That comes from someone who chose themselves. And when they look at you, they'll realize they didn't just walk away from a relationship. They walked away from a marriage. But by then, you'll be too far gone. You won't want them back, not because you're bitter, but because you're better. Because in investing in yourself, you found a version of you that's stronger, wiser, and happier. You found your confidence. You found your voice. You found your voice, and baby, once you find that, you don't ever lower your standards again. So while they're busy trying to impress the new person, you impress your future. You don't need to tell the world you're healing. Just move different, speak different, shine different. When you put all that love, attention, and loyalty you gave to the wrong person back into yourself, something powerful happens. You evolve. And that right there is your victory. Let me tell you something that will change your life if you let it sink in. Revenge is a distraction. Peace is power. I know what it feels like to be hurt, betrayed, replaced. I know the fire that burns in your chest when somebody walks out on you and tries to make it look like you were the problem. It's natural to want to prove a point. You want to show them that you're better, stronger, that they made a mistake. That's the first emotion most people feel. I'm going to make them regret this. But here's the truth. If you spend your time and energy trying to get even, you'll miss your blessing. You'll miss your healing. You'll miss your growth. See, revenge ties you to the pain. It keeps you locked in the same energy they left you with. That's not where your future is. That's not where your joy is. That's not where God is taking you. When you chase revenge, you make them the focus of your life. You're waking up with them in your mind, going to sleep with anger in your chest. You're checking their page, hoping they're miserable. That ain't power. That's bondage. And the crazy thing is, they might not even be thinking about you, but you've given them free rent in your head. You've allowed them to control your peace without even being in your life anymore. That's not winning. That's self-sabotage. Well, let me give it a better way. Don't seek revenge, seek peace. Because peace is the one thing most people don't have. You ever notice how folks leave something good, and no matter how happy they pretend to be, something seems off? That's because they ran from peace thinking they'd find excitement. But peace is priceless. And when you have it, you don't have to post about it, prove it, or flaunt it. You just live it. And peace don't come from proving anything to anybody. Peace comes from forgiving what hurt you without letting it control you. Peace comes from closing chapters without burning the whole book. Peace comes from saying, you did me wrong, but I'm not going to let your actions define who I become. That takes strength. That takes real maturity. See, anybody can clap back, anybody can throw shade, anybody can post some petty little quote online and call it strength. But that's just noise. Real strength is silence when you want to scream. Real strength is grace when you want to get revenge. Real strength is smiling when your heart is still healing. That's peace. Because when you choose peace, you shift the focus back to you. You take your power back. You stop reacting to what they did and start responding to who you're becoming. And that's where the magic happens. That's when doors start opening, opportunities start flowing, and people start showing up in your life that match your energy, not your pain. You want to know what real revenge looks like? Real revenge is not success. It's not showing off. It's not even about getting ahead of them. Real revenge is waking up in peace. It's living with joy they can't touch. It's going through your day without checking their profile. It's walking into rooms with confidence, not bitterness. It's healing so deeply that if they walked back into your life tomorrow, you wouldn't even flinch. It's power. Because here's the deal. If you hold on to anger, it poisons you. It don't hurt them, it hurts you. It messes with your health, your mind, your relationships. You end up bleeding on people who didn't cut you. You bring yesterday's hurt into tomorrow's blessings. And God can't bless who you're pretending to be. He blesses the healed, honest version of you. The version that says, yeah, I've been hurt, but I'm not going to live there. Don't think forgiveness means weakness. It doesn't mean what they did was okay. It doesn't mean you let them back in. It just means you're not carrying that weight anymore. You're not dragging your past into your future. Forgiveness is how you cut the chain and walk free. And let me be real with you, it takes time. Some days you'll feel good, other days the pain hits you again. But every time it comes up, choose peace again. That's the process. That's how healing works. Bit by bit, choice by choice. And the more you choose peace, the stronger you become. So while they're busy trying to impress the world, you work on building your world. While they're jumping from distraction to distraction, you build discipline. While they're busy trying to validate their choice, you validate your worth in silence. And when peace becomes your priority, you won't even want revenge anymore. Because peace feels too good. It feels like freedom. It feels like power. It feels like walking in the light after spending too long in the dark. Don't fight fire with fire. Don't lower your standards to get even. Rise up, grow up, glow up. Let them watch you walk in peace. That's the kind of energy that breaks chains, turns heads, and changes lives. Not just yours, but everybody who sees how you handled your pain. You don't have to announce your comeback. You don't have to explain your healing. You don't even have to address what they did to you. Just grow. Just rise. Just get better in silence. Because let me tell you something. Growth makes noise without you ever having to say a word. When they left you for someone else, they thought they were trading up. They thought you would fall apart. They expected you to break down, to beg, to lose yourself. They weren't counting on your growth. They weren't expecting you to pick yourself up, dust off your heart, and come back stronger than ever. But here you are. You want to make them feel the weight of what they lost. Don't scream, don't post, don't throw shade. Let your elevation speak. Let your peace speak. Let your glow speak. There's a version of you they never thought would exist, the healed, powerful, unbothered you. That's the one they can't touch. That's the one that keeps them up at night. Because growth changes the whole game. When you grow, you outgrow the pain. You outgrow the patterns. You outgrow the people who used to shake you. They can't trigger what no longer lives inside you. And when that happens, when you start moving different, thinking different, shining different, they notice. They might not say it, their pride won't let them, but trust me, they see it. You don't have to prove to anyone that you've leveled up. Just do the work, put in the time, build yourself back piece by piece, learn new skills, read, travel, pray, heal, chase your goals. Stay in your lane and watch how everything starts aligning. You don't even need an audience, because when God promotes you, he does it in such a way that the people who left you have no choice but to witness it. And here's what's powerful. When you stop performing for their attention, that's when your light shines the brightest. You're not doing it to make them jealous. You're not doing it to get them back. You're doing it for you. You're doing it because you realize your value doesn't come from being chosen by someone. It comes from choosing yourself. There's a kind of confidence that hits different when it's earned, not the fake confidence that comes from likes and comments. I'm talking about the deep internal kind, the kind you build when you've cried your tears, faced your demons, and still chose to rise. That kind of growth can't be faked. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's undeniable. They'll see it in your eyes, in your peace, in how you don't react the way you used to, and how you laugh again, not to cover pain, but because you're really free, and how you walk into a room like you belong, not because someone told you, but because you finally believe it. And let me tell you something. They will fall apart, not because you wished them harm, not because you got revenge, but because they'll realize you were the real deal. And real is hard to find. See, the world is full of surface-level, temporary people, folks who love the idea of love, but don't have the heart to stick around when things get hard. People who want connection, but aren't willing to be loyal. So when they experience that contrast, when the new fades and the reality sets in, they'll remember you, your consistency, your heart, your loyalty, your light. But by then it'll be too late. Because growth doesn't just change your outer life, it transforms your inner circle. You start attracting different people. People who match your energy. People who speak your language. People who build with you, not break you. And the crazy part, you won't even miss what you lost. You'll look back and realize that what felt like rejection was actually a redirection, a setup for something better. You were never meant to stay broken. You were never meant to stay bitter. You were meant to rise. That's why the pain didn't kill you. That's why even when you felt empty, something in you kept going. That was growth in motion. Quiet, steady, real, and now you're here. No longer reacting, no longer proving, just living, just growing, just becoming. That's how you know you're winning. Not because they're watching, but because you stopped caring if they were. Your glow up doesn't need an announcement. Your peace doesn't need validation. Your life is the evidence. So keep going, keep becoming, keep elevating, because nothing makes a stronger statement than your silence paired with success. And when they finally realize what they walked away from, they'll remember not just who you were, but who you became without them. That's the real win.